So we have had this conversation between us, and it's probably pretty obvious to anybody that follows me, but I have really stopped posting on LinkedIn recently. Not because I can't bother, not because I've not really got the ideas, but more because I feel like I've really fallen out of love with the platform.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether that's just me having spent a lot of time on it, put a lot of effort already into content, and you do go through those like stages where you've almost overdone it and you need a break.
Yeah, definitely.
And I thought that's maybe where I was at, but I've had a break and it didn't help. As soon as I came back on, I was like, no, I just don't enjoy it.
What's your first thing that you realise as to when you went back onto it that you don't like? What's the reason that you don't enjoy it for at the moment? Like, what's the first thing? Is it what you read? Is it like overwhelming from a where do I start to post, or like what is it? Is it your feed and the content?
I think it is my feed, and I'm sure. So I've done the thing multiple times where I've gone through and like culled people I'm following, because if I don't enjoy it, I'm not following the right stuff. So I've put like effort in to try and.
Yeah.
But I think what I try to get out of things and what keeps me interested in things is what I'm getting back from it. So if I'm logging into LinkedIn, I want to be finding content that I find useful or like enhances like me, is like tips that I wouldn't have known about, like links to, you know, things online that would actually like help me in my career or I would find interesting.
Yeah.
Whereas there's just an awful lot of like preachy, like I do this, I do that.
Yeah, it's weird because that's what I remember LinkedIn being for when I first started my career. And actually, I did an exercise in last, say, 12 months where I went back to my first ever post. And this was like...
Really?
Yeah, this was like... when would it have been? 2015. My first biz dev.
2015.
On a first biz dev role. Not in the industry, but doing biz dev. And I went back into it, and I was just posting like nowhere near like what I'm doing now. It was literally... like I was basically trying to find companies for students, student internships.
Right.
And all I was posting out was like, I am representing this group of students.
Yeah.
I need some companies. Like, I just going straight to the point.
Just like a call for anybody to get in touch.
So like when you then say like that's what you'd want to be inspired by that type of content, and it's just not there for you at the moment, and what is there is people just being preachy or talking about themselves and blah blah blah. Like it's in a different guise. It's actually sort of almost full circle for me.
Where it started.
Yeah.
The only thing is that, like, as I just said that, I was like, am I being super hypocritical? Because I'm not doing the post where I'm like, I've learned this really useful thing.
Yeah.
Here you go. Or like providing masses of insight into...
I get you. I do get you.
But then, I don't know, I guess some of our content can be quite similar, like the humour things, but I think that's just like a bit of who we are as people, personality coming across, which...
That's not a bad thing.
No, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah,
and that's a different thing. Like people that I find funny on LinkedIn, I'd never stop following them. Like people who I will specifically log on to see what they've recently posted because it's funny and amusing and relatable.
100%. Yeah. And there's a... This is me being a hypocrite now. Firstly, I agree with you. The on a sort of principle level that I'm struggling in terms of my motivation for LinkedIn at the moment, but I'm still sticking to it because I see the value in, and I have seen the value already.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm not going to drop it, and hopefully I never will, and never will have sort of cause to. But I'm on your page for something feeling different, and I'd almost say that's been this year.
Yeah, I think it's
as
been
in 2023, this year so far. I feel like I've been less engaged with it for 3 months-ish, say now, and that's obviously
I'm
where
probably
we're
about
at.
the same. Yeah.
And I also feel like a lot of the posts and a lot of the content on LinkedIn is about the LinkedIn algorithm and what you should be posting on LinkedIn. Exactly.
Or
and
ChatGPT.
Well,
I mean, I'm saying this, we literally did a podcast last week about it, but that was different.
We did.
They're all posts about this is how you use it, this is how you use it to do this, these are the prompts you need. I'm so bored of seeing it.
And it's quite funny because, like, you've said as well as like the amusing things and the humour side of things, you find value in like helpful stuff,
Yeah.
which lots of people do. And I think people have tried to be helpful with ChatGPT, but it's just gone absolutely wild for people.
But it's not helpful.
It's not anymore.
If
Definitely
20
not.
other people have posted the same thing on the same day, you're not helpful. You're just following what everyone else is doing. It's not helpful if it's already out there.
Yeah.
It's helpful if it's something that is completely unique that no one else has necessarily thought of. Again, I'm sure I've posted loads of stuff that isn't unique or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? With things like that, it's great. And yeah, it is great that people are learning how to use these tools and sharing that knowledge. But a lot of it is just a copy and paste job. And I think that's what, as soon as you see that, you just switch off from it.
Yeah.
If they were all different posts telling you something completely unique, a different take that you wouldn't have thought of or you haven't seen elsewhere, I'd be like, that is great.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. That's what.
Yeah, of course it is.
That's a really useful thing to get from a platform. But they're all saying the same thing.
Yeah, they are all saying the same thing, and it does make me question when we're talking about this, because I haven't really taken stock and taken a step back as to whether, like you've said, you've done it before where you've culled and changed your feed as much as you can by culling followers. Yeah. I've never done that, and I just wonder whether it's just the circles, the echo chamber stuff that we've just landed in and have ended up in, that, like, ChatGPT is a bloody word of the week, and well, longer than a week, but that everyone's talking about. But like outside of that, the other thing that everyone's talking about is what you should do on LinkedIn, and it's just become. I know that there's been a huge growth in it, so that's why people are trying to capitalise on it out there, definitely. And creating what they call LinkedIn, like what they call coaches and trainers and all that sort of stuff. That's like they're everywhere now, and they used to be select few. But the thing is,
like select few, and they're the ones I would still respect.
Yeah.
People that like have the experience and the real results behind them.
Yeah.
I think actually really interested in it on the back of that. Leah Turner, who I do massive respect, and I think she is doing everything right.
Yeah.
And she is a LinkedIn coach that deserves to be a LinkedIn coach. She did a post the other day, I don't think you saw it, about the rise in people being LinkedIn coaches that have got like no experience and just like charging people a fortune for like stupid courses or stupid documents that they'll send out that have no actual
substance.
use.
Yeah. That's interesting that she, I mean, she's, as we've saying, it comes with the territory. She's one of a few that stand out, that's clued up, and
100%.
Therefore respect what she's saying. So that's her platform as well, isn't it? So she's tuned into people that are being sort of empty coaches and.
But then I guess it's, I don't know, is it happening across everything? Because I'm finding what we're seeing is a lot of empty posts about marketing or digital marketing. What she's seeing is a lot of empty posts about LinkedIn coaches. I think that's what I'm finding with it at the moment. There's this real like abundance of things without a lot of substance.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just for the sake of it.
I genuinely think it's because there's these little trends that pop up, and LinkedIn has seen the growth that it has over the last 2 years, that people have just tried to jump on it and capitalise on it and turn it, have seen success, quite quick success, or at least, again, if you believe the success that you read, some people have sort of turned on LinkedIn and become a, influencer, awful word, LinkedIn influencer, overnight, and people have just thought, I'll have a bit of that, and other people have thought, I'll have a bit of that, and that's why it's just diluted the whole thing down, and then ultimately the quality of our experience from what we're talking about here has just been massively impacted from it.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I feel like I'm contradicting myself a lot in this. Like, I do agree with posting personal stuff on LinkedIn. I think that's fine, and I think it's really nice. Like, as part of who you are, why would you bother hiding that? Like, those posts are still important. But I think it's the difference is like having content that's not just that,
Yeah.
or not just your own little personal stories, or not just about like your working day. It's actually like giving a bit extra, whether you're putting it out there to, you know, like raise awareness or something, or
Yeah.
you know, people like say like Ellie Middleton, who is
Yeah.
they're not always stories, they're not always, but she's really about like raising awareness of like certain things and
Yeah.
stuff like that's really important, and that's the right path to go down. But I think it's like finding a balance of content like that, content that's genuinely useful, sharing like resources and stuff.
Yeah, that my thought that I've had before, and I'd almost forgotten that I'd had it before, and it's come up when we've been talking there, and you've mentioned two individuals that I fully agree with. I don't know whether I'm going to call them rules, in inverted commas, the things that people are saying you should post on LinkedIn that do really well, so the personal stuff, I think they hold more water and more value for the audience and for that purpose. When you're a freelancer, you know, you are your business, and or you are the founders of a business.
Yeah, definitely.
When you're an employee, I don't think it's as compelling or it resonates as much. I'm not saying that you therefore just switch it off. You know, me and you talk about our personal stuff. No, I'm not saying that. But I can see it's... I'm again contradicting ourselves here. If I was a LinkedIn coach or trainer, I'd probably be pushing business owners and individuals who, you know, freelancers that run their own like small consultancies, one or two people in them. I can see the sort of value and the power in that way more than I can as me doing it.
Well, yeah, because an individual would choose to work with a freelancer based on the freelancer. Yes, it is about the work and the skills they bring, but you also want to work with somebody that you know you get on with and that you can relate to. And same with like a business. If you're looking, I think it's a little bit different. No, same thing. If you're looking to work with a business and you can see the founder has these values and that's shared through personal tales or whatever else, and also if you're looking to, say, go work at a business and you can see that's the person. People aren't likely to choose Flaunt because they like you or me on LinkedIn.
Exactly. That like that, and
or
I also
come work at Flaunt because they're like, oh, we'd love to work with Dan Wall. They're more like, I'd like to work for Lee Fuller.
That's what I mean. Like, I'm an individual that isn't. I can try to be part of the voice or the face of Flaunt, but it's a collective at my level, if you know what I mean. But at Lee's level and the rest of the guys, like I completely get that, and that's exactly where I'm coming from. But
the difference there is you've like earned that authority.
Yeah.
You've earned it through building something.
Yeah.
It's not just an overnight like, oh, do you know what? I'm going to talk about a business on LinkedIn that I set up 2 days ago.
100%.
It's talking about something that you've worked for years and years to build, and you have genuine experience and genuine stories, and then you're sharing them.
Yeah. And I think like as much as I can post, you know, what I've been saying, and I'll still stand by where I think the value and how compelling content comes on a personal level more out of a founder or a sort of individual owner, you know, run business, for example, versus me. The game that we're in is you almost always, like from a client side, a team of people that make the decision about the team that is an agency. It's team versus team and team on both sides, not like individual and team or individual and individual from both sides, both client side and agency side. Therefore, I don't think, as you rightly said, in terms of me agreeing with you, I don't think a client's going to come to us and say, I want to work with Dan at Flaunt. It's I might have come across Flaunt for any of us individually that have posted, or hopefully as a collective as well, because it's a collective effort. But I don't ever see that as being the crux, because ultimately, even if that person likes you on an individual level, they're usually part of a decision-making team anyway. So it has to be like across the board from their side of things and across the board from our side of things.
Yep.
Where it changes is getting in the room with them. I
Yep.
think that can be like...
That's it. It opens a conversation.
And it has done.
Yeah, we've seen it so many times.
But that doesn't mean that we're then going to win the business because we got ourselves in the room because of something you've posted on LinkedIn, something I've posted on LinkedIn.
Yep.
That doesn't mean that the decision is actually going to be made that we're going to be hired based on that LinkedIn post or whatever.
It's just purely we've
Opening
managed to
the
get a
door.
conversation off the back
Exactly.
of it. Or it could be, because we've seen this as well, where actually it's 6 months after the post, or somebody that's been following you for years, and it just comes up that they might have a new job where they need a new agency, or the agency's come up for renewal or whatever else. And that's the moment. It's never off the back of one big post that you did that was amazing.
Yeah, nah.
It can happen.
The thing is, like, again, going back round to how we started this, we've almost flipped this conversation to and fro because I genuinely think that represents what we're battling with.
There's been a lot of up and downs in this. I feel like I've contradicted myself.
But I think that is like, that reflects social platforms full stop, not just LinkedIn.
Does,
But we're choosing to speak about LinkedIn because of obviously what we're talking about here.
It's got love and hate.
Yeah, it is, but it's got us pitches. And name of our podcast, like we can see the value of LinkedIn as that building block towards opening the door, getting in a pitch situation, and it's happened.
And we can choose to put out the content that we'd like to see more of.
Yeah. I mean I agree with you when you're saying like I'd love to read more like insightful how-to things.
But I'm just gonna post another meme.
Exactly, but I don't fucking do that. So, but
but that's relatable stuff, and that's the other stuff that I like. I post stuff that I see elsewhere that I find enjoyable. That's it. So that's how my content strategy works. That's what it's based on.
It's one of these things where it's like it's a necessary evil, and that sounds very extreme, but necessary in the sense of we've already proven its value for us. So we sort of have to stick to it. We'd be stupid not to stick to it. But it's ever changing, and that is just reflective of the first time you open it in the morning, you could feel motivated, and the next morning you could be like, fucking hell. But I genuinely just think that's a social platform. Yeah,
definitely. It's just life, that, Dan.
Yeah, it is. Life is a roller coaster. Just got to ride it.
I'm just going to throw something in before we end to anybody that's listening.
Please do.
If people do listen. We've talked about this between ourselves, me, you and Lee, but I think it's time to put it out as a bit of a public call.
Down the lens.
That if anybody would like to be a guest on our podcast.
Me?
You want to be a guest? Okay, that's fine. If you want to talk to any of us about anything marketing, pitching, agency related.
Sales, business. Out.
Similar to the topics that we discuss, we are open to applications.
More than. And you might get a little goodie bag.
We're exploring it. It's something we definitely like to start looking at. So...
Get in touch.
Get in touch.